President Trump makes history with the longest address to a joint session of Congress in primetime. But with all those words, what did he actually say? What to know and why it matters. I'm Jenna, and this is Smarter News. Well, I'll be honest with you, taking an hour and 40-minute speech and reducing it to a quick hit is not easy, but it is necessary. First, fun trivia for all of us. President Trump beat out President Bill Clinton by more than 10 minutes to now have the record for the longest address to a joint session of Congress in history. And the length of the speech here really does matter because of two key reasons. One, it speaks to the interruptions, both disruptions and applause during the speech. But two, it also speaks to how many topics were covered. President Trump covered a lot of ground, although we'll also talk about what he decided not to mention in our report here. The big headline, though, is the tone. You may read or hear about the president delivering a partisan speech or a campaign-like speech, and the reason for that is that he chose to directly address his critics, and he did not hold back against political opponents. And by the way, his opponents did not hold back against him either. So the whole night felt very politically charged from the very beginning to the end. But President Trump also orchestrated some very poignant moments in the speech that felt bigger than politics. These moments were emotional and also fleeting. So let's just start with one of the most memorable moments of the night. And this exemplifies the broader point that I'm talking about here. There was a moment when the president introduced to the audience a young man who had the dream of becoming a police officer. But we find out this young man was previously told he only had months to live because of a cancer diagnosis. His name is DJ. The president then makes this happen.
Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer, actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
And this very human, emotional moment touched on some of the important topics that the president wanted to talk about in this speech, including respect for law enforcement and the importance of healthcare, particularly for our children in America. But moments later, even the mention of the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., brought clearly mixed reactions from the crowd. The politics of the room, of the speech, of this time period we're in, cast a long shadow. And it began right away with the removal of a Congress member, Democrat Al Green of Texas, who was interrupting the president's speech very early on and was very quickly asked to leave. This is a moment I've never seen before during this type of speech.
The largest one-month gain ever recorded.
Mr. President.
A 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
Listen, disruptions happen. Republicans disrupted President Biden and President Obama, but the level of disruption was higher than I've seen before, with Democrat lawmakers holding signs that read false or save Medicaid or any number of different messages. But I really don't need to tell you about partisan politics. You're well aware of that. Let's talk about the news that was in this speech. Number one, the president said reciprocal tariffs are coming in the first week of April, meaning we in the United States are going to match what countries, even our allies, are charging us to do business in their countries. Why this matters, there's many reasons, but it may impact the prices you pay and the availability of certain goods. So this is definitely a story that we want to keep an eye on. Number two, the president shared some news on Ukraine, stating he had received a letter from President Zelensky before the speech that said Ukrainians were open to negotiations. Why this matters is that's a change from what we saw in the Oval Office on Friday for clear reasons. And so, again, this is a story that we want to continue to keep an eye on. Number 3, President Trump announced the apprehension of one of the alleged terrorists responsible for the murders of service members at Abbey Gate in Afghanistan during the United States withdrawal from that country. And the president says this person was apprehended with the help of Pakistan and is on his way to the United States to face charges. This was unexpected, and again, a news item that we're going to continue to watch. One topic the president notably didn't spend a lot of time on: consumer prices. Here is one key moment that stands out.
Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again. Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control, and we're working hard to get it back down.
According to a transcript from the New York Times, President Trump mentioned Biden 13 times. He's clearly pointing to the Biden administration as the problem that he is now solving, but how he will exactly solve the problems remain less specific. What is his plan to make America affordable again? What are the specifics attached to that? The economy seems to be where Democrats feel like they can chip away at the president's message. Senator Slotkin of Michigan delivered the Democrat response to the president's speech, and this is what she had to say.
President Trump is trying to deliver an unprecedented giveaway to his billionaire friends. He's on the hunt to find trillions of dollars to pass along to the wealthiest in America. And to do that, he's going to make you pay in every part of your life. And if he's not careful, he could walk us right into a recession.
If all politics begin and end with our wallet, then despite all the topics discussed, maybe this is the one that we need to zoom in on. Again, something that we'll keep an eye on. Another key takeaway from the speech is not only the breadth of the topics, but what the president did not mention. He did not dive deep on China, just mentioning the country briefly, sort of in passing with a few other topics. He mentioned Israel and Gaza, again, very, very briefly. He did not mention Iran at all. No mention of North Korea. So this did feel like a domestic speech for a domestic audience with domestic topics. And if the president used this speech to set the menu, then the next question is naturally, well, what's going to get served first? What of these topics becomes his top priority? Because the last few weeks have felt very similar to the speech. A lot of topics, a lot of volume, but not one huge focus. And maybe that's going to be his style. President Trump would probably say, and I just say this after reporting on him for the last several years, this is all part of his plan to make America great again. The next natural question is, but how? How exactly? So we'll continue to watch that. I'm going to put a link to the entire speech in the show notes so you could check it out in full for yourself. I'm very curious what stands out most to you. And if you could prioritize one topic over the other, what would be on the top of your list? I'm curious. You can email us hello@smarternews.com. In the meantime, thank you for your support of quick, concise, nonpartisan, smarter news. Have a great day.